Welcome to the Tiger Nexus Podcast, a place where you'll find interviews with content creators and geeks alike. Your host, Tiger, has delved upon the Nexus and found interesting content creators and geeks of all fandoms. This podcast is connected to the Zero Hero Network. And now, we dive in with another episode!
Hello everybody and welcome to Tiger Nexus Podcast. Of course, I'm your host, Tiger, and today I have another guest for you guys. A really fun guest this time. I've been really looking forward to talking with this guy because Power Rangers once again, as you know, huge Power Ranger fan. Of course, I'm part of the 300 Bros and I make Power Ranger content and stuff. So, loving the content this person makes. Absolutely love kind of delving into this world that he's slowly building. And I look forward to kind of learning more with you guys. So with me today, I have Mason, the Adventure Orange Ranger, on TikTok. Hello, bro. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm all right, mate. How's the weather you're in? Because there's a couple hours between us. How's the weather?
It's actually fairly good out here. It's actually pretty nice and warm at the moment.
Well, it's all right for some. I've got downpour rain. Yeah, I live in the UK, so it's rain for 10 months, sunny for a week, and then for the rest of the year just threats to snow but doesn't actually snow.
Gotcha.
That's the UK for you, especially where I live. So yeah, it's not great. So you are creating something called Power Rangers SHOWTIME. Which, by the way, awesome name. Do you kind of want to give us a bit of a breakdown on exactly what Power Rangers SHOWTIME is about, kind of like the theme of it, and kind of like give us like a breakdown of some sorts?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So, so Power Rangers SHOWTIME, mainly it's just right now I'm kind of a one-man show working on this project. Just a little thing to get the creative juices flowing. Basically, it is right now just a project that I'm hoping to make at a bare minimum into an audio-based drama, probably post it on TikTok, YouTube, pretty much wherever I can. The team is 8 primary Rangers, each one based off of a different film genre, with the Red Ranger being action, myself, the Orange Ranger, adventure. Then we have Yellow, the Comedy Ranger. Then we have Green, Fantasy, Sci-Fi Blue, Romance Pink, Horror Black, and then the last being Western White. That is our primary 8 Rangers for the team.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been watching your videos. You have like kind of shown off some of their designs and stuff. Are you drawing them? Are you the person actually like drawing because obviously you've shown off the artwork that you've got so far?
It's so far, like I said, it's a one-man project at the moment. I'm the one creating the designs, drawing all of it. The logo was designed by me as well. Every single piece that you've seen so far has all been made by me personally.
So what inspired you to do a Power Rangers team based off of movie genres?
Well, I've always been a fan of movies growing up, and of course also Power Rangers as well. Fairly recently, actually now a couple of years ago, I actually graduated from film school. I did online courses with the Los Angeles Film School. So film has just always been a part of my life. And I've never really seen anything like that in terms of a design theme for Power Rangers, so I kind of felt like it would work perfectly.
Well, first off, congratulations for finishing off film school. That's awesome. That's an achievement. That's very cool. And yeah, that's very true. I see a lot of different, like on Instagram and TikTok and stuff, people make their own Ranger teams. And they all kind of fall into the same sort of bubbles, doing another dinosaur season. A lot of people tend to do like mythology because we don't really have a solid mythology like themed season. Sure, we have mythology animals and creatures. We have dragon swords and Mystic Force kind of did it, but nothing like solidly themed off of like mythology itself. I see a lot of mythology themed seasons. I've seen someone do like cowboys, because obviously there was the Mighty Morphin episode where we were introduced to the Western Rangers and stuff. So like you doing movie genres in particular, I think that's really unique. And yeah, honestly, I'm loving it. I check your account every couple of days to see if you've like posted new artwork and like what you're talking about and stuff. Because even your range designs are really cool and different to what we'd normally get. It kind of reminds me of kind of like SPD, where it's not just their primary color; it's also like more to it than that.
Mhm.
Which I like. I like those sort of like different, unique designs.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, it's kind of the base design of each of their suits is highly inspired by the Super Sentai team Boom Boonger.
Yep, no, I can see that.
But,
Yeah, I
you
can see that a lot.
Um, that's kind of the main inspiration for at least the base of the suit. But then I wanted, obviously, each ranger to have a main piece of their helmet to be very unique from each other. And then you also have Western White being the most unique out of all of them, having the little poncho there as well, which I think was kind of a cool touch to that.
Yeah, I really like the. It also kind of screams the Sentai that Cosmic Fury got their Zords from, because each Ranger design has like similar elements, but they are all vastly different. And like you've got like a Green Knight, your Red Ranger helmet is vastly different to like the yellow one, for example, and stuff like this. Like your Black Rangers also love the Black Ranger design; that is so sick. So like that kind of gives me some form of similar vibes as well. Where like you've got more than your average 5 or 6 different Ranger suits, and I feel like that's gonna kind of appeal to the Super Sentai fans who like Super Sentai outside of Power Rangers. So like you definitely opened up more of a market for yourself doing that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm just trying to create something cool for all of us Sentai and Power Rangers fans out there, and I've been having a lot of fun making it.
Do you know what the villains are gonna be? Are they gonna be like movie themed as well, or are they gonna be like something different?
So I haven't gone into too much well, at least I haven't discussed many details about that yet on my page. But one of the primary villains of the series is going to be a like film executive who is just trying to gain popularity for the most part. But then in terms of like a villain ranger or anything like that, the only one I haven't officially designed them yet, but I have an idea in mind. It was actually suggested somewhat by some of the fans of Power Ranger Showtime so far, but it's going to be a purple ranger themed around generative AI, and the whole point
Oh,
behind them
okay.
is going to be like badly mimicking each of the rangers as like part of their like power set.
I like that a lot. Kind of like yeah, I like that a lot because AI is stupid. I
Oh,
despise AI so bad.
I mean, I've been such a proponent of my channel here has been being outwardly against the use of AI. It's, on my bio talk, I've made at least 2 separate videos very much against it. Yeah, just not wanting any part of that whatsoever on this project.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, AI is just it takes away the creativity as well. Like one of the reasons why people like yourself get noticed and get questions and comments and the attention that you deserve is because it's unique and it's designed by someone, and you can see the creativity and the time it takes to make this, and all that combined. It's one of the reasons why people are like, oh, I have a question, oh, I want to know more. If it's just AI, nobody gives two flying fucks about it, and it's stupid.
Absolutely. Not to
So
also, all the environmental problems AI is causing, and just all the negative sides of it entirely.
So you're the Orange Ranger. Did you pick the Orange Ranger like first, like you as the Orange Ranger first, or did you kind of like just look at the Rangers you made and went, "Yeah, I want to be the orange one"?
Well, my favorite color is orange, so I've always
Makes sense.
wanted there to be, and yeah, just orange Power Rangers in general, and there's such a limited number of even remotely orange Power Rangers just in general. And the couple that they have had in any of the Super Sentai series never got brought over to Power Rangers. Like, for example, in Q Ranger, Q Ranger, that never got brought to America in any way. The closest we've really had to an orange Power Ranger is like like Cat Manx, even though she's technically like white and orange. Then there was the Cosmic Fury, and then technically in the comics, was it Bulk and Skull, when they were Rangers for like a second, one of them was orange.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's
Skull
pretty
became the
much
Orange
it.
Ranger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I like the idea of more Orange Rangers. I think Orange Rangers are cool. And when it comes to Power Rangers, final season, Cosmic Fury took like 30 years or whatever it was, just to get an official Orange Ranger is kind of sad.
yeah, it's a little rough.
So yeah, it's cool that you've actually got pretty much all the main colors involved. So you got red, blue, yellow, pink, black and white. So like you've got every, and then obviously you're throwing orange in there, which again is cool. So did you find it difficult to come up with the genres? Because obviously you've got like very vast different genres. You've got like horror. Like I was quite shocked to see Western. I think that's the one that I was sat there like, oh okay, that's kind of cool. Like that's that one. Like the other ones made sense. Like you said, you got like one that's sort of like love. Obviously rom coms and romantic comedies and romance films are massive. So like that makes sense. Adventure also makes sense. But the Western one I got like took surprise. So like, did you find it hard to make the 8 genres, or did that come easy to you? Because obviously, like you said, you graduated, so like so like, was that easy on a?
I mean, overall, it wasn't really too difficult, and I mean, yeah, they kind of all just sort of fell into place. Yeah, Western White was definitely the last one that I had officially come up with, because I wanted to have, well, I was doing, the special quote unquote sixth ranger, or having a mentor ranger to the team. And that one just sort of, I don't even remember exactly where I even originally came up with the idea for it, but design wise, and it specifically being like the White Ranger, and then also the Western, just all of it kind of coming together. You mentioned previously the like towards the beginning of all of this, that the part in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers where they get sent back in time and then they meet like the Western crew, and then they make
Yeah,
them. There's the Tommy's ancestor, who's the white rider with his full white suit and cowboy hat and everything like that. So I kind of was inspired by that to some degree, plus the Gold Ranger from, what was it, Ninja, the one that's um cowboy themed and has the
yeah, yeah. Pirates of
hamburger
Ninja.
morpher.
Yeah.
All that. Um, and people gold because of that. But I was like, I don't want to fully rip off of that and make the Western themed Ranger gold because I didn't want people to immediately just be like, "Oh, you're copying the Gold Ranger that we've already had."
Yeah,
So I
yeah, that
thought,
would be
wait,
that.
kind of worked.
It like the thing is on the internet as well, and when you do these sort of things and you're showing it off, you'd have people there saying to you, "Oh, hey, kind of pay homage to Ninja Steel, give us like a golden like Western Ranger," and then once you've done the golden Western Ranger, you just get a lot of people going, "Hey, you're just ripping off Ninja Steel. Why don't you like come up with something more creative, God?"
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it literally just turn on you, and that's the main issue of like doing this sort of stuff on the internet.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, no doubt about that. And down the line, maybe I may. I mean, there's still plenty of different types of, you know, film genres and different Power Rangers colors that I have not used yet. So I could always, you know, throw some other colors in there like gold and silver and some things like that down the line. Just depending on how Power Ranger Showtime grows and but yeah, I'm not too sure what will come down the line just yet, but I'm slowly building up to hopefully make something that people can truly enjoy.
yeah, I definitely think you've got like I said, you got a good premise there, really unique idea as well. No, I haven't seen movie genres as Rangers before, and I follow quite a few of the like big named like Power Ranger art people that like get commissioned for stuff, and
Hmm.
I haven't seen movie genres. So yeah, I definitely think you've got a good sort of like starting premise there. What's their morphers?
So the morphers are kind of a multi-piece deal. One of my earliest videos on the TikTok page actually has like the original art that I did for them. And in fact, I think, do I have that art on my computer here? Maybe I do, maybe I don't. I was thinking maybe I could physically send that to you while we're discussing things here. Does not look like I do right now. Um, but basically, there are like three separate parts to the morpher. There's the belt, which is kind of inspired by like Common Rider and also a film, clapper board that they use to, start filming a scene. So basically, the Rangers pop that open, and then morphing disc, which is whichever color the Ranger is, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, pink, and then that is installed into the actual wrist morpher as part of the morphing sequence, and then that's how the Rangers transform.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Are you like planning on like doing a art video where you actually show off just the morphers themselves?
Um, yeah, I think one of the earlier videos I did had showing that the art for it. I
Yeah,
think.
cool. Just thought I'd ask because like people may want to see the morphers.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
if
I mean,
people
I might.
now you said that, people can go find it.
Yeah, I mean, now that things are starting to gain more traction and everything like that, I might redo the art for it, make it look a little cleaner and things like that, and then show it off again. And I mean, gosh, it would be cool one day to actually have it all like 3D printed, and then I can show people off that way. But that might be a little ways down the road.
Yeah, that'd be very cool. I look forward to the day that you couldn't do that sort of stuff. So let's backtrack it a minute. What was the first kind of like introduction of Power Rangers for you? Like, because obviously everyone's different ages, people get into Power Rangers different times. So, like, what was like kind of how did you get into Power Rangers itself?
I mean, gosh, I've probably been watching Power Rangers since I can stand in the grand scheme of things. But, I mean, I watched a lot of Mighty Morphin growing up. But one of the first series that I think I actively was like watching it like week by week and everything was Dino Thunder. Because I was right at that. What was that? That came out in like 2004, so I was right around 10 years old at that time. So it was like the perfect time for that to show up in my life.
Yeah, fair. Mine was Wild Force. That's the season that got me kind of like hooked. And at the time they were doing reruns of Time Force, so that kind of helped. And I'm at the point now where I'm kind of rewatching Power Rangers with my son. I've got a 6-year-old, and he's now kind of like hooked on Power Rangers. So like we're not watching it in order. He's kind of like picking and choosing which seasons he wants to watch. So I think we're on our 7th one now.
Oh,
We're
wow.
currently going through Dino. We're currently going through Dino Charge as we're recording this, and he's loving it. He's loving Dino Charge. So yeah, we're currently going through Dino Charge. He's watched. He's watched Dino Fury and Cosmic Fury, Wild Force, Time Force, Jungle Fury, SPD, and now on Dino Charge. And I think so far his 2 favorites are SPD and Jungle Fury. He was obsessed with Jungle Fury when we were watching that. Yeah, he really liked Jungle Fury. I think it was because how different and unique it is. Because obviously with all like animal spirits and stuff, it's different to like. However, he's really smart and like he's asked like some really like cool questions. We just got introduced to the Graphite Ranger, and he asked me the other day, how do the Power Rangers know it's the final strike? Like, how do they know their final attack is actually going to beat the bad guy? I was like, yeah, that's a good point, but they don't come with health bars. That's a good point, like. So, I'm enjoying that. So, what do you think? What's your stand on this, like Power Rangers reboot that we're air quote gonna get at some point?
Well, that is definitely an interesting question there. I mean, I would say I'm cautious. I think if they don't just do Mighty Morphing Power Rangers again, but with a twist, I think that would be fine. With hearing that the Red Ranger is probably going to be a girl, I think that's kind of cool. We've rarely had a Red Ranger be a girl, except for like, was it Jaden Sheba's sister, and then there's only like one or two other, not counting the comics, that there's even been a
Yep. Yeah, we only had
female.
SPD.
Interesting.
We had SPD A Squad, which
Oh,
ended up being a
yes.
villain.
Yeah.
We had Lauren Sheba, who only was in it for a couple of episodes and was poorly. I feel sorry for the actress because she did a phenomenal job, but obviously it's Samurai, and
Yeah.
what
and
they
she
ended
had
up doing with
style on
Lauren
it.
was just a shame. Yeah, and then our first like main lead role was in the last season, which was Cosmic Fury, because Amelia ended up becoming the Red Ranger after being pink. So, yeah, I don't get why. Like, I've seen some people moan and complain about having a female Red Ranger, but it's happened before.
Yeah.
And like you said, even in the comic books, like they made it canon in the comic books that back in the 60s, Zordon made like the air quote first Mighty Morphin team,
Mhm.
and the leader of that was a Red Ranger who was a girl, you know.
Yeah.
So, and she ended up now when she's older and like Zordon's got Jason's like team, she ends up helping them a couple of times.
Mhm.
So like, I don't see an issue with it. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But saying that, the internet complains about everything. Like that's sucky thing about the world nowadays is people find a way to complain about literally anything. I mean, we've been talking for years about how we had our first lesbian relationship in Cosmic Fury, our first Red Ranger in female Red Ranger in Cosmic Fury. The 2017 movie made Billy autistic, and things like this, and everyone just moans about it. So,
Yeah.
so when it comes to the reboot, are you one of these people that are like sick and tired of the fact that it's always Mighty Morphin no matter what they do, or are you like okay if they do stick with the whole Mighty Morphin kind of theme?
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, if they did stick with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, I wouldn't be too upset. I would just, be excited enough. But I do feel like this is a perfect opportunity for them to try to do something different. That way, falling under, oh, let's just keep doing Mighty Morphin Power Rangers over and over and over again in every piece of media we do, whether that be another reboot or
Yeah.
just a Fortnite or just any of these things. It's always Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and nothing else ever gets the spotlight. So I think this would be a perfect time for them to just try something different.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. Like, I'm just happy Power Rangers is coming back at some point. But I see. I was born the year In Space came out, so me growing up, my like the Zordon era was kind of like come and gone type thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like growing up, I had to go back and watch that. So first and foremost, I just don't have a tie to the Mighty Morphin era as some people do. But in my head, I look back through Power Rangers and a lot of, the Americanized stuff that we got that isn't in the Sentais are actually really good. Titanium Ranger, the Spirit Rangers, and even some of the bad guys as well. So we had Rancic from Time Force, he's American made. Grum's American made from SPD and stuff like this. Like some of the really cool like bad guys as well. So like they can do it. Like we the Power Ranger creative teams have done it before where they've come up with their own stuff and 90% of it's really good.
Yeah.
So and just look at like what they've done in the comics with some of the Lord Draken is different. Okay, I know it's Mighty Morphin still, but Lord Draken is different. The new Prime universe is different. So if they are gonna do Mighty Morphin, I just hope it's not exactly like copy and paste. Hey, the Red Ranger is gonna have a sword and she's really good at martial arts and she's gonna have a T-Rex sword and she's gonna have a belt buckle morpher. I just hope it's not like copy and paste. I hope they at least make it a bit more standalone. I'm not saying do 2017 movie, but at least that tried to do something different,
Absolutely.
So I want something a bit more unique. If they're gonna stick on Mighty Morphin, fine. Just make sure it's at least different and stands alone from the other Mighty Morphin stuff. Because, like you said, you mentioned Fortnite. Anytime Power Rangers gets brought up into anything, it's always Mighty Morphin. I actually thought it was really cool. The Reignition toy line, season 2 got announced the other day, and we're getting the Thunder Megazord, with the Zords that go with it. And I'm like, yes, finally, okay, yes, it's Mighty Morphin, but it's not just the original Megazord. Like, they've done that now, so now they're going to season 2, and I was like, finally, we can get something else. Like, something that's different, So, you've designed the Rangers for Showtime, and we know what the Rangers look like, and you've shown off their weapons, which are very cool. Do we have like characters under the suits kind of made yet, or have you not got that far?
I have mostly left that up in the air at the moment because really I think a lot of that just because of the fact that like I'm kind of waiting to see who I end up actually casting as my Rangers and stuff like that. So I'm really, like their race and appearance and things like that, for the most part, is completely open to whatever. The only things I really have like set in stone is obviously like which Rangers are male, which Rangers are female. I haven't said or anything, but the red and orange Ranger are actually going to be siblings. And then the Western White Ranger is technically older than all the rest of the team because she is going to be the mentor ranger for the team. And her whole backstory will be.
Yeah, that's cool. So when it comes to Zords, are you doing Zords, or are you gonna leave the? Because you said like at least it'd be a audio drama. So are we having Zords for this team? Because not everyone needs to do Zords.
I do have some ideas for Zords, and I'm kind of debating Ratho on that because I know, well, in the grant, if you really want to break down how Power Rangers Zords end up being, the majority of them are usually either animals in some degree or vehicles to some degree. That's kind of like your two main pathways for it.
Yeah,
So,
with the very rare odd occasion that they're humanoid.
exactly. So,
Like that's the lesser one because we do have humanoid ones, but
mhm,
out of the like you said, the majority of time it's a beast of some degree, dinosaur,
yeah,
mythical or animal, or it's something with wheels. Yeah.
exactly. So, I've kind of been playing with the ideas in both directions. Um, but right now, both sides, I feel like there's something that hasn't quite worked one way or the other. Like when I'm thinking more in the vehicle sense, I've kind of had a good idea for most of the team, but the one that kind of stands out would be Fantasy Green because I feel like the one type makes the most sense for a fantasy themed ranger would be to have it as a dragon, but that's not really a vehicle. Um, Vice versa, going towards making the Zords all be creature based in some degree. I then have to try to figure out what animal makes sense for each film genre, and that's also been kind of something I'm still trying to work out and see which one I like more.
Yeah, that's fair. And like the thing is, as well, is I don't know about you. I don't know what sort of comments you get when it comes to like whether like majority of them are nasty or whether like how it balances out for you. But I
Mhm.
find a lot of these people that do what you're doing where you're posting on TikTok and stuff, a lot of people end up suggesting a lot. But one thing that people have to understand is that the creative process, one, will take a break at some point. Everyone has lives, family, jobs, health, whatever the case may be,
Mhm.
all this sort of stuff. And also, it's okay to be stuck on something. So, like, for example, you may figure out what your Zords are, but be stuck on the Black Ranger Zord. And that may take you a couple of weeks. And then, even if people are like, hey, haven't turned off the Black Ranger Zord yet, you can be like, yeah, well, I'm stuck, deal with it. Because these things,
Absolutely.
we can't always be creative 100% of the time. It doesn't work that way. And so, like, I find a lot of the time when these sort of things come about and they're really good, like yours is really unique, it stands out and stuff. People can be quite not demanding but kind of like pushy in a sense, and it's just like, whoa, chill out, like you got to give the man some time to breathe and figure so if it takes you a little while, it takes you a little while, and there's no issue with that.
Oh yeah. No, I mean that's definitely been something I've seen here and there over the last couple of months that this has all been going on is that yeah, some people will just I've gotten I've gotten messages from a bunch of people or I'll get like a giant comment from certain people with just like either all of these suggestions or like a billion questions, and some of these are things I haven't even thought about yet, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, where do I even start with all of this? So I've just been trying to go step by step and be like, okay, what's the next thing I should work on, or what have more people been asking about that I should start working on? And yeah, it's been an interesting process for all of this.
Yeah, and like, the thing is as well, you don't have, kind of a leeway because you're going off an original idea, and that's
Mhm.
something else as well. Like, this is why I think I really like your series so much because it is just all original. So, like for example, some people do. I follow someone on Instagram who's doing a kind of like an SPD version 2, if you will. So
Okay.
it's kind of like farther in the future, kind of more in between SPD and Time Force. And they are coming up with like different Zords, different people, different power sets, because obviously the SPD Rangers had civilian powers and
Mhm.
things. Their suits are slightly different, but they do pay homage to the original. And so like, they have a leeway there. They have something to go off because SPD already exists, where everything you're doing is completely from the get-go. You're going off scratch here.
Mhm.
So that can be also quite tricky. So like you said, you have to figure out the Zords, the villains, and you kind of have to make it kind of work with your core theme, which is movie genres. And I guarantee now, eventually, you're going to run into an issue where, for example, you'll come up with one idea for Zords, for example. It works for 4 of your Rangers, but you're kind of stumped on the other 4, so you have to scratch that and start again and go, right, now what can I do? And you kind of have to just tinker with it and kind of go from the get-go. Which, kudos to you, because, like, coming up with something from the ground up. I mean, Power Rangers didn't even do that. They nicked stuff off of Super Sentai, so
Yeah, that's true.
so fair dues to you. Um, so how did you come up with the name Showtime? Obviously, I know it's movie genre themed, but like there obviously could have been other names you went with. What made you set on Showtime?
Actually, I hate that I can't remember the person's name off the top of my head, but it was actually a suggestion by a fan. I didn't originally.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah,
cool though.
yeah, that a lot of things have actually been, from fan comments, like, um, even me changing up or actually even the original, like, call outs for the morph sequence and even the now updated call outs for the morph sequence. Both of those were fan suggestions because originally, well, no, actually, no, well, the original I had was like doing the morph. It was calling out ready, set, action. But then fairly recently, someone said, it would actually be really cool and even more on the film theme if instead of saying ready, set, action, it's lights, camera, action during the morph sequence. And I was like, that's actually perfect. I don't even know why I didn't come up with that, but that's awesome. So one of my more recent videos on TikTok where I just filmed myself doing the morph sequence in a parking lot, like a week or two ago, I people seem to really like it, and the person who suggested it was like, "Oh my gosh, you used my idea. That's awesome." So that was super cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. See, that's also something that I've got to give you kudos for, is because you're willing to hear suggestions, take ideas on board. There are some people that can get really, honestly, I've actually seen people on TikTok get really funny with certain individuals and get really like snippy and assy with people because they're like, no, no, it's my idea, shut up. And it's like, well, hang on a minute, mate. They may have a point, they may have a good idea, and you're like the complete opposite. You're taking, like you said, the name Showtime came from a suggestion from a fan. That's awesome. It kind of gets people feeling like they're involved, kind of makes people feel a bit hard, and that will benefit you in the long run, and you're you getting to the point where like it's an audio drama and stuff.
Mhm.
Those people who felt like they were hard, suggestions and stuff, they're going to be more invested at that point. So yeah,
Oh
absolutely
yeah.
kudos to you for that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, since I'm doing this all at the moment entirely by myself, I am definitely taking suggestions and things because it's, doing something as big and wild as this and trying to come up with every little aspect of it entirely on my own, that's not easy. Not easy at all.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, um, when it comes to the you said audio drama, like that's
Mhm.
kind of like the bare minimum. If you could, if you could, let's say money's not an issue, you got like unlimited budget and stuff, would you want to do something kind of like a YouTube fan series type thing with like actors and like CGI effects and stuff? I don't know if you've ever seen like the Bloodline of the Grid fan fiction series that's on YouTube. That's all live action and stuff. They've actually got like Power Ranger actors in there and everything. But like, would you ever want to like get to that point where like you could actually have like your suits made and like the morphers made and everything, and kind of do like a proper series?
Yeah. If I had, yeah, if like you said, there, unlimited budget and things like that, absolutely, I think that would be awesome, because not only would that be bringing it to the real world, but then it would also allow me to use the skills I learned from film school and all of that stuff, and be able to actually do something with all of that. So I think, yeah, no, if I was given a budget to do so, and didn't get sued by Hasbro or anything like that, yeah, no, absolutely, I would absolutely do that.
Yeah, that's the only issue with those sort of things now, isn't it? Is like, you know, like I mentioned, there's Bloodline the Grid. I've actually interviewed the guy who made that, Colin Bass. He's a really cool actor. He's worked with the guy who plays Andros. He's in it. The guy who plays Manual Defender. He's in it. Quite a couple of other actresses and actors in Power Rangers that he's managed to like have like guest appearances on. And I've kind of asked him, I was like, dude, what happens like one day down the line? What if you get sued by Hasbro or whatever? And he's like, I'll get to it if that ever happens. I was like, fair enough. Like, because you never know these days, do you? So that's the funny thing.
Oh yeah,
So
absolutely.
one last major question. Obviously, so this is coming out on the 24th of February. So what kind of like what's next for Showtime? So you've got the Rangers, we know what their weapons are, you've shown off the Morpher. Kind of like in your head, what's kind of like the bullet point list of things that you want to show off and explain and kind of dive into?
Okay. Yeah, so I think we've already kind of discussed a little bit. So I think one of the next like big bullet points would be the Zords. And then I think beyond that is going to be um, a little bit more of the actual, maybe, discussing actual plot points, villains, um, maybe looking into our quote unquote Zordon character, whoever that
Mentor,
may
yeah.
be, things like that. But yeah, it's honestly, it's just kind of working piece by piece, slowly building everything out until I then actually start telling more about the actual story of things, and then followed by hopefully getting more auditions and casting for people, and then working on actual scripting and stuff for the series.
Yeah, that's really cool. I look forward to it. And so we are going to come up to a wrap up. I don't want to take too much of your time. First things first, thank you very much for obviously coming on and chatting with me and kind of letting us kind of delve more into your head when it comes to this little series you're making. I look forward to it expanding and growing and see what else you come up with.
Oh, of course, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate you asking me to do this, and it's just been great getting to talk about the series.
Maybe I don't know a couple months down the line or like a year down the line, maybe we could have maybe have you come back on and kind of see where the series is from this point on, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then last but not least, where can people find you if they want to check out Power Rangers Showtime?
Well, if you are looking to, see specifically about Power Rangers Showtime, that's primarily just on TikTok at Power Rangers Showtime. If you want to see more into other things outside of that, or, anything else, I do have a personal cosplay page at Colorado Spidey Pool on TikTok and Instagram. I'm hoping to actually put more stuff on there as well as just my other side projects. But for now, I'm mostly focusing on Showtime, so that's pretty much the main place you'll see me at this time.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to this episode. Of course, make sure you definitely check out Power Rangers Showtime. At the current moment, as of recording this, he is slowly inching to 1,000 followers on that Pacific TikTok. So, of course, guys, if you are listening, go check out Power Rangers Showtime on TikTok, get him to 1,000 followers, and things. It'd be awesome to get this very unique Power Ranger idea, kind of more traction, get it off the ground more. So yeah, definitely go and follow him and make sure you check out his videos. And of course, if you guys are listening on podcast platforms, don't forget to rate us and everything. If you listen to us on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. We are almost at 100 subscribers, and that'd be so cool if we could get that. That'd be great. Of course, I've been your host, Ty Tiger. I love you all, raw passion, everybody. And of course, I shall see you guys in the next one.